What went wrong in the series versus the Edmonton Oilers, and what are we looking forward to next season for the Vegas Golden Knights?
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello. Happy Saturday, May the 17th. Greetings from Henderson, Nevada, not too far from Las Vegas, Nevada. It's a nice 77-degree morning, going to be pushing somewhere in the mid-80s today. Nice day to get outside. Welcome, everybody. My name is Chris Golick. That's Little Chris. We, Chris, are day one season tickets holders for the Vegas Golden Knights. I am the collectibles site editor for the Hockey News, owner of Silver State Cards and Sports, and Little Chris is an aspiring House League hockey player. We got a big game tonight. Go Ice Dogs, go. All right, we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This is the special Chris and Chris edition of Locked On Golden Knights. We only do this on Saturday mornings. It's a YouTube exclusive. Coming up, we're going to talk about what we're looking forward to next year for our Vegas Golden Knights, and we'll give some predictions for the remaining playoff series. And we're going to start things off right away. I'm going to turn it to Little Chris. What went wrong in the series versus the Edmonton Oilers?
I think, honestly, that first goal in Game 4, that was weak. That should have gone in. I think, honestly, we should have won Game 4. Of course, Mark Stone being out, that didn't help our cause.
For Game 5, obviously.
Whoever else was out, that didn't help either. So
Saad was out, but he missed the last few games, but that certainly played a part.
I felt like I still haven't watched the highlights in Game 2 yet, but is what I'm sounding like as there's McNabb got a little hurt from that. That definitely slowed us down, and just a little bit of over Game 1, 2, and 3 crazy games. I think from the moment when I saw the Oilers won Game 2, I thought the series was over.
Game 2 was tough, and that's a real tough hill to climb out of. I mean, yes, the Golden Knights were up 2-0 on the road a couple seasons ago against the Dallas Stars, and unfortunately they lost that. Golden Knights could not climb the same hill that the Dallas Stars did climb against them. Just going back to the series, Game 1, Chris, we were there, right? First period, we're thinking, okay, cool, at least the first 18 minutes. I joked that the Golden Knights needed to slow down a little bit on Calvin Pickard, otherwise he's going to get pulled, and that's not going to be good. You want to keep Pickard in the net. Unfortunately, Pickard got hurt, and unfortunately for the Golden Knights, Stuart Skinner was absolutely great down the stretch. So you felt good in the first period. Even when it was a 2-1 game, you felt really good. And then things, of course, started to shift. Game number 2, nice comeback by the Golden Knights. You felt like, okay, wait a minute here. Golden Knights are back in this thing. And then, of course, the situation happens in overtime. Nick Waugh with the major penalty. Braden McNabb gets hurt, and here we are. Game 3, okay, fine. We're starting to feel a shift, right? You see that miracle from Riley Smith at the last second, and Leon Draisaitl essentially taps the puck in for the Vegas Golden Knights. And then, unfortunately, they laid a big egg in game number 4, not by not scoring any goals. And then, of course, game number 5, we were there. What are your thoughts about game 5, Chris? Why don't you talk to me about that right
now? I mean, one thing I can say is I didn't expect the game to end 1-0 one way or the other.
So here, I'm going to cut you off, Chris. We saw the Edmonton Oilers earlier in the season. Do you remember that game?
Yeah.
Do you remember what the score was that game?
1-0.
Remember? I that hit me, right, Chris? That hit me earlier in the week. I didn't even realize this is the second time the Golden Knights and Edmonton Oilers had a 1-0 game. And if you remember that game, the Golden Knights scored, I forgot who scored it. It was a real weak goal on Skinner early in the game. Do you remember that too?
I don't
It was a
know.
low 5-hole goal from what I recall. Again, it's been a while. I could be wrong. But it was a weak goal.
Oh, I remember that now.
So keep going about game 5 now. I just wanted to remind you about that. I'm sorry to cut you off, but keep going.
It was a good game by both sides. Edmonton outshot us, but Vegas had more high danger chances than them. So I think this is more talking about how Skinner played. He blocked every single one of them. And Aiden Hill blocked every single one of them, but one. Fortunately, just that wasn't enough.
No, yeah, that's some good stuff right there, little man. And the high danger chances that game, if I recall, in regulation, the Golden Knights held an advantage of 8-5 in high danger shots. Overtime, the Oilers logged 4 high danger opportunities. Of course, the one goes in at the end of the game, and here we are thinking about next year right now. So, I mean, yeah, this is the Golden Knights scoring went very sour for the last as someone reminded me, for the last 127 minutes and 0.4 seconds. The Golden Knights, and technically the Golden Knights didn't even, I mean, yes, Riley Smith gets credit, but technically Leon Draisaitl scored the goal that ended game number 3. Mark Stone, Jack Eichel, Dorofeev, Barbashev, Brett Howden, Tomas Hertl, just some of the higher Vegas Golden Knights scorers were an absolute mirage. Mirage is gone now too. Go figure that. They didn't exist much as far as on the score sheets. Edmonton Oilers, when Coach Chris Knobloch mixed up the lines separating Draisaitl and McDavid, that was huge. And Leon Draisaitl had a great quote. I don't know if it was after game 4 or game 5, but basically Draisaitl said you need to put your personal stats on the back burner if you wish to compete and ultimately win a Stanley Cup. Draisaitl, I mean, I always looked at him as a good scorer. I think he's a multiple 100-point player. I never knew about his defensive ability, and people in Edmonton, of course, can jump in the chat and give us a better detail about that. But I think Draisaitl was the difference maker, at least games 4 and 5, even more importantly than Stuart Skinner. I'm not knocking Stuart Skinner by any means, but Leon Draisaitl and his defensive display, I think, is ultimately one of the toughest things that Coach Bruce Cassidy, Jack Eichel, the rest of the Golden Knights cannot overcome. So that's just a few of the things that went wrong. Aiden Hill, while he had some rough games, he also had some good games. Aiden Hill, I put a tweet out there earlier in the week about how well he has played in the recent Golden Knights elimination games. He has like a .962 save percentage. So Aiden Hill rose to the occasion when it was really, really important. Unfortunately, in those 3 games, all right, so I'm thinking back to the stat now. Aiden Hill has a .962 save percentage, allowed 3 goals. We're going back to the 2 games against the Stars last season, Chris. Game 6 and 7. Aiden Hill had a shutout in game 6. Game 7 they lost. Was it 2-1 or something like that? And then, of course, Aiden Hill lets in 1 goal in the series clincher for the Edmonton Oilers. So he lets in 3 goals, yet the Golden Knights have a 1-2 record in those 3 games. So, you know, if you would have told me, I mean, there's a lot of things we can chop into. This could be a 20-minute segment if we wanted to. But, yeah, the scoring went south when it mattered the most. And that's obviously, I think, what went wrong. Do you have anything else to share in this segment about what you feel went wrong in the series against the Edmonton Oilers?
One thing that I noticed a couple of days ago, I think it was after game 5, the last time the Golden Knights have scored was with 0.04 seconds in a game by hashtag the newest player on the Golden Knights, Riley Smith. Good, yeah, good trick.
I thought you were going to say Leon Draisaitl and make a joke there, but yes.
And the last time I even heard the horn was game 1.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, listen, we're not going to say the Golden Knights didn't work their butts off. They tried as hard as they could. I don't even want to go down the injury route because all teams have injuries. The Golden Knights had their share. Alex Pietrangelo did give some not so nice details about his game one situation, and it was a stomach bug. And his quote was, "If I could have kept it in or down, I'm not sure, or both maybe, he would have found a way to get out there." So unfortunate circumstances in game number one that had Pietrangelo that left Pietrangelo and miss it. The other players didn't give up a lot about their injuries. Mark Stone said he wasn't himself in game number 5. Sounds like a concussion, but I don't know. So yeah, here we are. That's what went wrong against the Edmonton Oilers in the second round of the NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs. Coming up later, me and Chris will give our playoff series predictions, and we're going to talk about next. I'm looking forward to this segment. We're going to talk positive now. What are we looking forward to with next year's Vegas Golden Knights team? Don't go away. Cheers. Good morning, friends in Las Vegas. Good morning. Still getting a lot of love from Edmonton and fans across the NHL. We are very, very appreciative of all the visibility Locked On Golden Knights has received, especially on the YouTube side. It is just the views. It's something that we've never seen on this channel. We're thankful for everybody, the Golden Knight fans, the Oiler fans, and everybody else across the NHL that has stumbled upon this pod. Again, this is a special Saturday edition of Locked On Golden Knights with myself and little Chris. Little Chris is my son, if you guys didn't make that correlation by now. So yeah, here we are. Chris, what are we looking forward to next year with the Vegas Golden Knights? What are you looking forward to? Why are you excited for the 2025-26 Golden Knights season, Chris?
Well, I'm just curious, honestly, what they're going to do along the off season. I'm curious what changes will we see in the arena. And literally the one thing when the Golden Knights got knocked out by whoever in game 4, whoever in season 4, after season 5, after they win the Stanley Cup, and after they got knocked out last year and after this year, the one thing I always look forward in the following season is seeing the new center ice logo. Every year it's different, and Vegas, and it's just unique from all the other teams.
Yeah, no, that's cool. If you remember, of course, last year's center ice logo featured an outline of the Stanley Cup for good reason. And yeah, it is always fun. And these are the things we as fans do look forward to. How about changes around the arena, Chris? What did you like this year that was a little different? You always like pointing this stuff out. What did you like in the arena this year?
The one thing I definitely stood out to me was the two like screens kind of like by the stage area.
Yep.
And one thing that eventually struck me last year after the playoffs is the Dragon still going to be there? And that's what I'm kind of wondering this year also.
The Dragon looks great. It just needs fire. It needs fire. I told Chris not to say anything mean about the Dragon, but I kind of went there. The Dragon needs fire. Otherwise, the Dragon looks absolutely awesome. I've heard some rumors about possibility some remodeling around T-Mobile. Again, this is simply rumors, nothing more, nothing less, but possibly a big digital display might one day take over the big facade on the west side of the stadium that shows the Las Vegas Strip. I think that would be magnificent if that happens. Possibly some more suites around the arena. So yeah, I mean, the visuals around T-Mobile are awesome. The lasers were a wonderful addition. Me and Chris really enjoyed those in the playoffs. Wish we could have seen a little more of the lasers. Hopefully those stick around for the next year's pregame shows. And of course, Nightclub with DJ Joe Green at the second period intermission and all of that. You just wonder, and this is a Tyler F. Tyler and his team are just magnificent. Bruce Cusick, of course, the PA announcer. Everything that they bring in that entire team, what they do in that arena, and I do say it's the greatest show on ice, right? What was it, the St. Louis Rams, folks? Someone correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. St. Louis Rams, greatest show on turf. I think the Golden Knights are the greatest show on ice. It's a great product, of course, on the ice every time we go. The Golden Knights have been a Stanley Cup contender nearly every season. And the show around, I mean, I heard Oiler fans talking how magnificent the stadium was and how much they enjoyed their experience in Vegas and everything. And it's just something that we can't necessarily take for granted as fans, as season ticket members, as just, the people that passively go to games. It's a wonderful experience. And if you work it out the right way, it's not as expensive as people make it out to be if you're able to get yourself the right deal on tickets, if you're able to time it right and things like that. So, yeah, the experience at T-Mobile is awesome. Now, Chris, let's maybe shift to on the ice as far as the team. Jack Eichel, good season, ends with some injuries down the stretch, but overall an amazing regular season for Jack Eichel. Winds up playing 77 games and gets 94 points. Mark Stone, relatively healthy, 66 games. Most games played in at least the last 2 regular seasons, maybe last 3 now, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. 67 points, point per game for the captain. Tomas Hertl, regular season success, of course, no playoff success, 61 points. Shea Theodore, please, Shea Theodore, stay healthy one season so I can tell everyone I told you so that Shea Theodore is an outside Norris contender if he can have a healthy season. So Pavel Dorofeev, Brett Howden, excellent breakout seasons for them. Tanner Pearson, PTO tryout, winds up getting 27 points for the Golden Knights. And he was effective, I think, in some of his playoff games. Not necessarily a difference maker, but I didn't feel the game was too fast for him. Alex Holtz, we'll see if he can carve out a role next year. Cole Schwint was okay. Ben Hutton, Tony, I don't know what's going to happen with Ben Hutton next year. We'll see if Ben Hutton keep things going. So, Chris, as far as players and what you saw on the ice, is there a certain player that you're looking forward to see what they do next year?
As always, Eichel, Stone, Carlson, Barbashev, Hurdle.
Carlson, I feel, hit another gear in the playoffs this year. I feel Carlson had a real good playoffs, and I'm really curious to see. Carlson's going to go to Sweden, going to go play for Sweden, Chris, in the Worlds tournament. So he's continuing to play hockey right now.
I definitely like all of those players. And again, I'm curious what's going to happen over the offseason, what kind of trades will happen, if Vegas gets anything useful from the draft. It's like kind of all like that stuff.
So I have on Daily Face-Off, it's the AFP, I hope I said that properly, the AFP projections, which is basically a projection of the free agents and what their salaries could be. Scrolling down to Riley Smith, he's the 39th ranked free agent right now. They're projecting him at a 2-year deal at $4.4 million. I think that's high. And Riley Smith has indicated he wants to do anything he can to stay in. He didn't say it like that, but he really wants to stay in Vegas. You can certainly tell. Danny Webster had a great quote from him that Riley Smith still has boxes that didn't get unpacked when he moved from when he went to Pittsburgh and then the Rangers. He has no idea what's in there, so maybe he'll get to stay in Vegas. He can open those boxes one of these days. You got some like defense, like Nate Schmidt, old Golden Knights player, 33-year-old, projecting him for maybe a $2.6 million AAV. Some other interesting players that could be on the Golden Knights radar next year. I was looking at Mason Appleton of the Winnipeg Jets, 29-year-old, 3 times 3.6. That could be something that's on their radar. If the Golden Knights do end up going with a new backup, I don't think it's going to be Samsonov. If they go outside the organization, like a Dan Vladar, 27-year-old, projected to get $1.4 million. Vanacek from the Florida Panthers, $1.1 million. Those could be some lower-level fines. Brandon Tanev, he's a 33-year-old, but he's a gritty winger. That would be an interesting signing in the offseason, kind of some things like that. For me, what I'm looking forward to seeing is if the Golden Knights end up adding, and we're going to go back to Brandon Tanev here, I guess, now that I'm thinking about this, if they want to go after that type of gritty player. You have Tom Wilson in Washington, Chris. Good goal scorer, but pain in the butt to play against. Or Evander Kane. Evander Kane. Everyone in Vegas cannot stand Evander Kane. We boo him all the time. But you know what? If you put Evander Kane in a Vegas Golden Knights jersey, you would love him. Trust me. I lived through the Chicago Bulls, Detroit Pistons rivalry basketball, Chris. If you don't know whose teams are basketball teams. We don't, not much basketball in this house. I used to watch the Detroit Pistons beat up on my Chicago Bulls. Dennis Rodman, the Worm, everyone hated him. Put him in a Bulls uniform. He was probably the most beloved Bulls player behind Michael Jordan for a minute there, even maybe more than possibly Scottie Pippen. That's maybe a bit of a stretch. Brandon Tanev, I mean, 15, 20 points, maybe a more polished version of Keegan Colasar. Maybe that's not the best move. I'm not sure, but I am looking forward to, just from a general perspective, to see what Kelly McCrimmon does with his approximate $10 million in salary cap space. And Chris, as far as players who do need contracts right now, we'll put a bow on this segment quickly. Riley Smith, Brandon Saad, Victor Olofsson, Tanner Pearson, those are the unrestricted free agents, along with Samsonov, the goalie. I assume RFA deals will get worked out with Holtz, Schwintz, and Nicholas Hague is a question mark. Depends on. It's going to be a tough negotiation with Nick Hague, but I think the Golden Knights find a way to retain him. Maybe they trade him. I think they find a way to retain him. So that's the things inside T-Mobile Arena and on the ice that we are looking forward to next season with the Vegas Golden Knights. It's been a long morning. All right, coming up next, me, and don't worry about me, but Chris will have the better predictions. Chris will give his predictions about the remaining teams in the NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs. Don't go away. Welcome back. Locked on Vegas Golden Knights special Saturday Chris and Chris edition. YouTube exclusive reminder, you can catch Locked on Golden Knights with myself and Tony Dasco Monday through Friday on YouTube and audio anywhere you get your podcast. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Chris, I believe it's tonight, Winnipeg and the Dallas Stars. That's a 3-2 series. Does Dallas win this series? Hi, Allie. Does Dallas win this series, and does it happen tonight?
I think if that goes to 7, it's gonna be not the simplest game. Not the simplest.
Can Dallas lock it down tonight, though? Is it going to Game 7, or can Dallas lock it down?
I think Dallas locks it down here.
Okay, so now that sets us up, Chris, with a second or a conference final matchup. And I'm with you. I think Dallas wins it tonight in Game 6. That sets us up with Edmonton and Dallas in the Western Conference Final. Who wins that series in how many games?
I honestly think Florida does that. I honestly think that Toronto.
No, Chris, hold on, stop. Edmonton, Dallas Stars, Western Conference. Edmonton, Dallas Stars. What do you say, buddy? That'll be a great series. What do you say?
It's honestly not a possibility that doesn't go to 7. And I could be totally wrong. I said in the Vegas Edmonton series that this isn't ending in anything less than 6. So I think Game 7 gonna be wild. It's going to overtime. It's going to a second.
Wild are gone, buddy. Wild are out.
Whatever. One overtime.
It was a joke about the Wild, dude. Way over your head. Sorry, buddy.
And then a third overtime. Where finally it goes to the fourth overtime. Where Dallas finally
so we have a 4 overtime Game 7 prediction. Am I hearing this right?
Yeah.
Okay, who wins that fourth overtime quickly? Who wins?
Dallas.
Dallas
Gets an extremely weak goal and says bye-bye to Edmonton.
Okay, so little Chris has predicted the Dallas Stars over the Edmonton Oilers in 4 overtimes on a weak goal let in by Stuart Skinner. There we go. And it's Jamie Benn who gets it just to piss everybody else off. I probably shouldn't have said that. Sorry. All right, so to the Eastern Conference. Carolina Hurricanes, God, they look good. By the way, I'll take Edmonton in 6 over the Stars, just for a prediction. All right. Carolina knocks out Logan Thompson and the Caps. That just, yeah. Didn't want to see it end like that. Definitely heartbreaks for Logan, but what a series. What a season Logan Thompson had. Not going to get too deep into that right now. I'll save that for another time. Carolina advances 4-1. That defense looks good. They are waiting the winner of going to Game 7, the Florida Panthers and the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs have a pulse in that series, and they'll be the home team for game number 7. So who wins that Game 7, please, quickly? Florida or Toronto?
Toronto put a good effort, but I think it's over with Florida.
Big road win.
Good blowout game. I think Toronto, after the first period, Toronto just collapses.
Biz, did you hear that? Doom and gloom is coming for your Maple Leafs. So what's this blowout score that the Florida Panthers are going to do to Toronto in Toronto? What's the score?
1-1 at the end of the first period, 4-1 at the end of the game.
4-1, but the game's never going to be close. Okay, Chris, that sets us up. I will take Toronto in Game 7 as well, just because I think I don't know.
I said Florida.
I'm taking Toronto, so we're going to have a fight. All right, so now, Chris, we have Carolina in the conference final on your bracket against the Florida Panthers. Who wins quickly? How many games?
That series also going to be crazy. Yeah, I think that's going in Game 6, but I think just like 2023, Florida in 6.
So you're taking Florida over Carolina. I am going to go Carolina over Toronto. I'm going to take the best goalie in the series. I'm going to take I think the coaches are a wash. They're both magnificent coaches, but I'm going to take the best defensive core in that series. So now, your Stanley Cup final is the Dallas Stars against the Florida Panthers. Who wins how many games quickly?
Florida won it last year. They're not doing it 2 years in a row like Tampa.
Dallas Stars, Pete DeBoer is the Stanley Cup champion. Wow. DeBoer. How many games?
5. Pretty demolishing series.
Wow, and it's a blowout, basically, a 4-1 blowout. All right, so my bracket then, I've got the Edmonton Oilers against Carolina. I think Carolina comes out of that series pretty easily against the Leafs. That defense is just so good. So now we have, in my bracket, the Oilers and the Hurricanes. It's tough. I always say, give me the best goalie in a series. I always say, give me the best coach in a series. Those two nods, of course, are the Carolina Hurricanes. But is McDavid really going to be denied a Stanley Cup 2 years in a row should the Oilers make the final? Knobloch has shown us a lot. So Golden Knight fans, do this. Cover your ears. I will take the Edmonton Oilers in a 7-game series against the Carolina Hurricanes. Close one, but I don't know. You know my love for McDavid, guys. I'm not going to hide that. All right. That is going to do it for the Saturday special Chris and Chris edition. Chris, cheers one more time to a wonderful Golden Knight season. Allie, hello. Cheers to Allie. Doesn't have a drink, but that's okay. Cheers to Allie as well for hanging out with us. Remember, every Saturday morning you can catch, at least for a while. We'll keep this going for a while, Chris. And Chris gets bunny ears. Nice. We'll keep this going for a little bit in the off season until Chris finds something else to do Saturday mornings. He's not a cartoon guy, so he'll keep this going for a while. All right. Make sure you catch the Locked On Vegas Golden Knights podcast Monday through Friday on YouTube with myself and Tony Dasco, or anywhere you catch your podcast on audio. And again, this has been the Chris and Chris special Saturday YouTube exclusive for myself, for little Chris, for Allie, for Bella, for Mo, for Pumpkin, for Ashley, for Mommy, and for Tony. That's the whole family right there, by the way. Hamsters, cats, mom, Tony. Okay, anyway. Guys, we appreciate you checking out the show. Thanks to everybody. Have a great Saturday. Make sure to tune in next time on Locked On Golden Knights, your team every day.
I never